This is my persuasive speech. The Independent, January 28, 2019, states that as a human being, it is so important for us to be able to communicate and forge personal connections with one another. How many times have you been out to eat, out with your friends, with family members, just sitting around, and everybody has their heads buried in their phones on social media instead of engaging in real life, having real conversations with people? So I'm sure everyone here can kind of admit that that's true to some extent, that we as a society are becoming less engaged due to the rise of social media. It is becoming clear to many that social media is having many negative impacts on our lives today. I will talk about how social media is affecting mental health. So, how understanding this affects us can help us all to manage the time spent on these platforms. Imagine what life will look like in the near future if we continue down this path. First, let's talk about the effects of social media is having on mental health. U.S. News, June 7, 2018 states, published in the Journal of Depression and Anxiety, the study found that every 10% increases in negative social media experiences was associated with a 20% increase in the odds of reporting depressive symptoms, a statistically significant finding. On the other hand, each 10% increase in positive experiences on social media was associated with a 4% decrease in the odds of depressive symptoms. So that's a really wordy way of saying that the negative experiences we encounter seem to impact us far greatly than the positive experiences that we have. So in the JMIR Mental Health Journal on November 23rd, 2016, Brittadine O'Day says, positive interactions, social support, and social connections on social networks were consistently related to lower levels of depression and anxiety, whereas negative interaction and social comparisons on social networks were related to higher levels of depression and anxiety. So let's take a minute here. Let's talk about how being aware of these effects can change the way we think about the importance of social media. One solution would be to cut back on the consumption of social media altogether. The Harvard Business News website states, the full story when it comes to online social media use is surely complex. Exposure to carefully curated images from others' lives leads to negative self-comparisons, and the sheer quantity of social media interaction may detract from a more meaningful real-life experiences. What seems to be quite clear, however, is that online social interactions are no substitute for the real thing. Another solution would be to find a balance. The WellSeek website states that taking steps such as disabling notifications, unfollowing people that you have negative emotions from viewing their content, such as envy or jealousy, and setting time limits are great places to start finding a balance between your online and social life and your real one. So next, let's talk about the future, where we're going if we continue down in this direction. So the Psychology Today website states, if social isolation is related to so many negative health outcomes, both physical and psychological, and scrolling through social media doesn't seem to solve the problem, what can we do? In our current digital connected world, seeking out social media to reduce social isolation may seem like a logical step. It is called social media after all. However, the research indicates that we likely benefit more from an increasing face-to-face communication when trying to stymie social isolation instead of retreating into the perceived comforts of our phone. We need to put down our devices and engage with those in the world around us, and not the World Wide Web around us. While a little bit of social media usage isn't a bad thing, make an effort to stop scrolling long enough to say hi to your neighbor before leaving for work in the morning. Engage in awkward social chatter with a cashier at a grocery store. Join a club or organization that actually meets in person. Have family over for dinner. And consider a backup plan for when they flake out on you. Or just find some less flaky friends or family. And remember that there are so many ways to be social that don't involve social media. So today I talked about negative effects of social media. And while not all experiences on social media sites are bad, being aware of how much time we spend online and how much value we give to others' perceived lives and happiness are very little important to our own mental health. I hope everyone can learn to find the balance and works for them so that both on and offline we can have happy, meaningful lives by doing the following. Limit the time spent on social media. Do not aspire to live for what are in many cases edited, filtered, exaggerated views of other people's lives they present on social media. Spend more time talking to the people in the real world. After all, these interactions are the ones that count. So, in conclusion, I would like to end my speech with this thought from the website, The Young Hopeful. We are well aware that social media has the power to negatively impact our thoughts, emotions, and desires. It can cloud our visions and perspectives, distorting our views of reality. It can create a false fear of magnifying our insecurities, making fear of missing out, or FOMO, a major driving force. It can make our attention span as short as our tolerance level. Thank you.